Looks good. Welcome, friends. Tonight we are going to be doing some yoga. So welcome to Jia Yoga. If you haven't been before, we provide free yoga for military veterans, their families, first responders, and caregivers, and active duty when they have time, which probably isn't very often. Anyway, welcome tonight. And tonight we're going to do, tonight and for the next 4 or 5 weeks, we're going to do the elements. So tonight we're going to start with space. And why would we start with space instead of earth? Because that's how it all started, in space. And we want to open up space in the body for transformation, for air to come in and go out. Without space, we get stuck. So, and I'm in a small little space here on my front porch studio, so beautiful, big spaciousness is what I am craving tonight. So that's what we get. All right, so come to a comfortable seated position. You can sit with your legs out in front, or you can sit cross-legged. If you're sitting cross-legged and you want a little height under you, I'm going to sit up on a blanket. And that gives my hips a little space to be a little bit more flexible. And then if my knees are more comfortable and they come down closer to the floor and they're not up here, then the torso has more space. You got it. All right. Getting the theme going already. Okay. So what are we going to do with all this space that we are thinking about? So we're going to bring that space into our awareness for mental space. Physically, in the body, we have different spaces, the thoracic space where the lungs and the heart, and then we have the abdominal space. This is the torso. This is space. So, and then the big one maybe tonight to think about is the throat, the ears, and the sinuses, the nasal passages. That is kind of what I was thinking about when I was thinking about space today. And that's 3 of our 5 senses: taste, sound and hearing, smell. So just little nuggets to have in your head as we're going through yoga tonight. Anyway, so what do we want to start with? Well, we're making space so we can breathe. So let's start with a little breath. And let's do a very spacious breath. We'll do our house breath because that, to me, feels like the most space. All right, so let's start with that. Again, finding a comfortable seated position. You are welcome to sit in a chair if sitting on the floor is uncomfortable. And let's take a moment before we start breathing to pause and check in with the body. Where are we feeling tension? I can feel mine right under my left shoulder blade. But maybe your shoulders, your hips, your knees, somewhere in the body is uncomfortable. So let's take a little time and notice where that is. And think about that later when we're making space in the body, letting the breath flow through the body. All right, let's come to our house breath. So if you haven't done it before, I'm going to divide the torso into 3 sections. Belly button down to the base of the pelvic floor, belly button to the diaphragm, and then the diaphragm to the collarbone. So that's your 3 levels: basement, first floor, attic. That's what we're going to go with. As your breath grows, you can add levels to your house, or maybe it's an apartment building and you have many, many floors. Either way, something to think about for space. All right. If you're comfortable and you want, you can close your eyes. And let's start with that inhale breath. So we're going to inhale in through the nose and out through the nose, keeping the mouth closed gently. So inhale through the nose and send that breath down to the basement. On the exhale, release the breath from the basement. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, just down into the basement. Exhale, release. And one more. Inhale, down into basement. Exhale, let it go. Now we're going to add a floor. So we're going to go into the basement, up to the first floor, and then exhale. Ready? Here we go. Inhale, in through the nose, down to the basement. Walk up those stairs up to the first floor. On the exhale, we're going to exhale from the basement first, pull the belly button in. First floor, exhale out. Inhale, down back into the basement. Walking up the stairs, filling up that first floor. Exhale, pulling the belly button in. Exhale from the basement and the first floor out the nose. Let's do that situation one more time. Inhale, down into the basement. Inhale into the second floor, or into the first floor. Exhale, basement. Exhale, first floor, and let go. Beautiful. Let's do one more set. We're going to add the attic. Inhale into the nose, down to the basement. Inhale, filling up the first floor. Inhale, up into this upper area, the attic. Exhale, basement, first floor, attic, out the nose. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, down into the basement. Inhale to that first floor. Inhale into the attic. Exhale, basement, first floor, attic. Beautiful. One more time through. Inhale into the nose, filling up the basement. Fill up that first floor, attic. Exhale, pull the belly button in from the basement, first floor, attic. Beautiful. All right, let's come back to our regular breath. Excellent. And then because we're going to be talking about space and moving kind of in an upward maybe feel, let's find a little bit of grounding before we get too carried away here. So let's come and extend both feet out, and we're going to pay a little attention to the feet as well as that spaciousness. So let's start by extending, and if you're up on something and you want to come down, you're welcome to do that. Let's extend the heels away from the torso. So we're sitting up nice and tall this way, legs are out in front of us. Extend the heels away from you, but you can have a little softness in that knee so we're not hyperextending. If the heels pop up off the floor, that means you are hyperextended, so don't do that. All right, now let's point the toes and then flex and point and flex. And let me give you the breath for that. So the inhale is when we point. On the exhale, flex, bringing the toes back towards the torso. Inhale, that's an open, making space. Exhale, close it back. Beautiful. All right, a couple more times. And then let's come into circles here. So we're just going to make circles around with the ankles. You can do 1 foot at a time. Really pay attention to that movement, or you can do both feet at the same time. And maybe if you want to try, you can go opposite directions with the feet. Or keep them going at the same direction. Excellent. We'll go ahead and release that. One of the things I like to do is make space in between the toes. So you're going right. Here's what I want you to do. So maybe your feet don't do this. Maybe your toes aren't at this point yet, but we're going to make space, at least mentally, in this area. So, and I have short little toes, so you can't really see what I'm doing anyway. But if you can see my hand here, let's see, I'll do this. So the thumb and the pinky coming away from each other. We're going to do that with the toes, the big toe and the pinky coming away from each other. And then release. Inhale for expansion, exhale, close. And one more time. Excellent. And then just a couple more here, and then we will come into the spine. So bringing the sole of the foot in towards that center line, and then you can do both feet at the same time, or one at a time is fine. Just do it evenly. And then we're going to go the opposite direction so that that pinky toe is coming towards the shoulder, and we're attempting to kind of send the top of the foot towards the center line. So the opposite of what we were just doing before. So you might feel that in your ankle or in your shin, or maybe I'm noticing it up here by my knee because everything's connected. Right, okay. And then let's finish with our windshield wipers. So that just looks like this. Pinky toe, one side, pinky toe, the other side. If you're paying attention here, if you want to pay attention to this, when the right foot comes in towards the center, that's an internal rotation of the leg coming all the way up into that hip joint. When you go out, pinky toe towards the outside, external rotation of the hip. Just something to notice. There won't be a quiz after class this time. All right, let that go. Let the feet go. Two options here. Well, more than two at least. You can cross your legs again if they were crossed, or keep your legs out straight. We're going to come into a seated cat and cow. The other option always is seated in a chair. All right, so sitting cross-legged again. I am. If you want, legs can be out in front. Hands can come under the front of the knees. If the legs are out, hands come under the thighs. So for our cat and cow, what I want to start with is rocking the pelvis a little bit first. So if you can imagine that the pelvis is kind of like a bowl holding in or up and in, kind of. Muscles hold it in, pelvis holds it up. All of our internal organs. So what we're doing is we're going to tilt that to kind of signal to the spine that we want some movement here. So you can just rock back and forth with that, feeling the tailbone. You can come back that far if you want. The sit bones, and then the tailbone comes up and back. Just notice where you're feeling that maybe. If you've been sitting a lot, maybe that's not great and comfortable. Been standing a lot, maybe that feels really good. All right. So let's add the breath and bigger movement. Hands under the knees. We're going to start with an exhale here. On the inhale, we're going to round forward and look up. Exhale, rounding back. And I'll move here so you can have maybe a little better idea of what that might look like. Exhale back. Inhale, rounding up, looking up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. So what are we doing? We're making space in between the vertebrae, allowing for those natural curves in the spine. Excellent. All right, so when you're ready, we're going to come back to our neutral spine. And I'm going to face this way now. So again, you can be up on something if that's comfortable, or flat on the floor, or in a chair for this. So if you have blocks and you want to do this with blocks, you're welcome to try that. If you don't, that's all right. You don't have to use them. But what they do is they give me more space. So when I'm on the floor, I'm a little bit hunched down. When I can push into the blocks, I have more space in the spine. So we're going to start with one hand on one block. Inhale. That one other arm up. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, second side. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale and exhale. Excellent. All right, so from here, let's add a little bit onto this. So we're going to add a breath and a movement. So we'll start with this first side. Inhale, that arm up to vertical. Exhale, over towards the opposite side. Pushing in with the hand that's on the floor or the block, that keeps this leg down and gives you all that space in that side body. Exhale, bring that back. Inhale, vertical. Exhale, over to the side. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Beautiful. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Second side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. One more set of these, and we are going to make space in the body, specifically in a certain place. All right, so I'll show you as we go. First side, inhale all the way up and over as far as is comfortable. The space we're breathing into is that lower rib cage. So those ribs are attached by muscles. We want those muscles to be moving, making space. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come up. Exhale, release that. Let's go to the other side. Inhale, up and over as far as is comfortable. And then let's come into that breath, into that rib cage. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, that arm vertical. Exhale, release. Beautiful. All right, let's come into a twist. So when we're we're going to go into a closed body twist. So we're compressing, and then when we untwist, then we're coming back into spaciousness. All right, move those blocks out of the way. And we're going to keep this in the upper quadrant of the spine for our twist. So inhale, lift up out of that pelvic bowl. On the exhale, right hand to the left knee, left hand comes behind you, gaze comes around towards that left shoulder. Inhale back to center. So now we're open again. And then exhale to the other side. Left hand, right knee, right hand behind you. You can push into the floor to lift. Head comes around, gaze goes towards the right side. Inhale back to center, back to openness. Exhale to the first side. Inhale, center. Exhale. And back to center. Let's go one more time, and we're going to add 2 breaths in our pause. So we'll inhale up out of the spine, exhale, first side, and we're going to bring the breath to that lower back rib cage. So on the back side of the rib cage. We're going to do 2 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Wunderbar. Back to center. Let's go to the other side. On the exhale, coming left hand, right knee. Breathing into that lower left back rib cage. 2 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Inhale again, and then on the exhale, release. Very nice. All right, so we did some laterals, we did some twists. Now we want to bring that spine back to symmetrical before we come up and do anything else. So if you want, you can even switch which legs in front, or if you're comfortable where you are, that's fine too. So let's start with the exhale breath. Exhale, rounding back to cat. Inhale, rounding up, looking up, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cat. Exhale, cat. Beautiful. And then back to center. All right, from here, let's come into our tabletop on our hands and knees. So if you have knee issues and you want to grab a blanket or a towel or whatever you have handy, it's totally fine. Bring that and put that under your knees. If you have wrist issues and you don't have anything handy, you can, I'll show you. You can, away. Make sure that's on. And you can roll up your mat, and that will give you a little bit more space so you're not compressing into the wrist. Right. So let's start by looking at those 3 movements that we did for seated. We're going to do them on our hands and knees. So let's find that cat and cow. The elbow, so the eye of the elbow here where it creases, we want those to face each other. So that's not the way you want to do it. You want to do it in. So if you bent the elbow, it would come out that way. All right, cat and cow to start. So find yourself in your comfortable tabletop. And again, we're going to start with the exhale. So we're going to exhale, bring the shoulder blades up towards the ceiling. We're going to tuck the chin in towards the chest. So we have that rounded spine up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to inhale and we're going to reverse that curve of the spine and look towards the horizon. Excellent. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. So as we go in between this cat and cow, see if you can feel the vertebrae as you switch the curve. Inhale, cow. So going super uber slow. Exhale, cat. So when we do a cat and cow seated, the spine is acting like a flagpole. And when we are on our hands and knees, the spine is acting like a clothespin. Just something to think about. I know, distracting you guys. And then let's come back to that neutral spine. We're going to come into our lateral again. So that's what this looks a little different when you're on your hands and knees. The same idea with the spaciousness in that side body. So we'll start with the left hand, stays where it is. We're going to walk this right hand over towards the left. So you can come up next to it, in front of it, past it, whatever is going to work for you tonight. Then we're going to turn and look at that left foot. So we're getting that spacious open body on that right side. We're going to do 3 breaths here. We'll go big to small. So we're going to inhale from the tips of those right fingers all the way down that right side body and out the right toes. Exhale from the right toes all the way up that right side body and out the right fingers. And then a little smaller space, but not smaller breath. Inhale from that right shoulder all the way down to that right hip. Exhale from that right hip all the way out that right shoulder. Last breath, we're just going to breathe right into that right rib cage. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Walk that right hand back. And let's go to the other side. Left hand comes over towards the right hand, in front of it, past it, wherever it works for you tonight. And then we're going to turn and look at that right foot. Feeling that opening on that left side body. Let's do those 3 breaths. Inhale from the left fingertips all the way down that left side body, out the left toes. Inhale from the, exhale from the left toes all the way up that left side body and out the left fingers. Second breath from that left shoulder all the way down to that left hip. Exhale from that left hip all the way out that left shoulder. Third breath here, inhale just into that left rib cage. And exhale, release. Beautiful. Walk that left hand back. And now we're going to do a twist here. And we're going to do an open twist. Seated, we did a closed twist. So now we're going to do an open twist here. And we're going to do two versions of it because it's fun and I like it. All right. First one is going to be gate pose. So our low gate pose. We're going to bring this right foot out to the side. And I'm kind of at an angle, so it's coming out kind of at 90 degrees-ish, maybe not quite perfectly 90, but that's okay. And then on an inhale, we're going to bring this right hand up towards the ceiling. And depending on how your neck is feeling, you can look down at the left thumb, up at that right thumb, or somewhere in between, whatever is comfortable. Take another breath here. And then on an exhale, bring that right hand down, and we'll tuck that right knee under. See if I have enough room to go the other way. I think so. All right, left foot comes out to the left side. On the inhale, we're going to bring this left arm up towards the ceiling. And again, you can look up at that left thumb or down at that right thumb or anywhere in between. Take another breath here. And then on your next exhale, bring that left hand back down to the floor. Tuck that left knee under. All right, so now we're going to come up to a high gate pose. If you have a block or a book or something, you could even use a chair if it's not going to get in your way, to switch legs. Sometimes you get a little wobbly being up on your knees, and it's nice to have that ability to hold on to it as we switch. All right, let's start with the left leg out first. We're going to bring that left leg out to the left side. This left hand can be on that left hip or down that left leg. We're going to inhale this right arm up. On the exhale, bring that right hand over towards that left foot. And let's breathe into that right rib cage. On your next inhale, bring that right arm up. Exhale, release. And then you have the block, if you need it, to tuck. And then send that other foot out the other way. All right, right hand can be on that right hip or down that right leg. Inhale, bring this left arm up. On the exhale, bring that left hand over towards that right foot. And then when you're ready, inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Tuck this right knee under and then move that block out of the way. Let's come back down to our hands and knees to work our way back up to, or to work our way up to a standing pose. All right, so let's start with, we're going to go cat, cow, child's pose. We'll do a couple of rounds of that. So we'll start with the exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And then exhale, cat. And then we're going to sit towards the heels into child's pose. That's our exhale, nice and long. Inhale, if you want, you can come up along the forearms back to cow. Exhale, cat. And then down to child's pose. Inhale, coming along the forearms if you like, looking up towards cow. One more, exhale, cat, and then we're going to pause down here in child's pose for a moment. If it's uncomfortable to come all the way down, you can come into puppy pose, which is keeping the hips up and then the head comes down. So what you sometimes hear is that this is a resting pose, and not all poses mean the same thing to all people. So it's a moment to catch your breath or pause before you do something else. All right, so now we're going to come back up to our tabletop. We're going to curl the toes and come into our downward facing dog. So you can walk the hands up a little bit if you want a little bit more space there. So on your inhale, we're going to lift the hips up towards the ceiling, and we're going to come into a V or an angle. Maybe it's I don't remember my triangles. Maybe it's an obtuse triangle. Maybe I'm just obtuse. Anyway, all right, let's start with walking our dog. So we're going to bend one knee, extend the opposite heel towards the floor. And then when you're ready, we're going to pause. And you can always keep a bend in the knees when you're in a down dog. If you want to kind of lengthen the legs a little bit and straighten the knees out a titch, you can do that, or you can keep them as bent as is comfortable. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to push in with the hands and extend the hips towards that back wall. Top of the head can face the floor. So you're kind of looking at your knees or your feet, whatever you've got room for. And then from here, we've got a couple of options. You can look up at the hands and then walk the feet to the hands, or look at the feet and walk the hands back to the feet. Either way, we're coming into a forward fold. All right, so bend the knees. Let the head be heavy. You can shake it yes and no. Just let the tension roll down the back. And then when you're ready to come up, we're going to bring the arms out to the sides. Bend the knees nice and deep. Push in with the feet. Inhale, working our way up. Bring the arms all the way up, palms together. Hands come down to the heart. Okay, all right, so we made it. We are vertical. Just making sure. All right, so spaciousness, right? What do we want to do while we're standing to be spacious? One of the things that I think about when I want to be spacious is opening up the arms, opening up the thoracic rib cage from the ribs up to the neck. Rooting the feet, extending the head so we're growing this way. And balance, that always feels spacious to me. So let's play around with some of those things. And let's start our number one balance pose, mountain pose. So I'm going to give you a couple of cues, not to overwhelm anybody or anything. So let's just do two. No, we'll do three, sorry. So finding the hip points right here in front, and actually stick your thumbs in, find that front point of the hip bone. And then we're going to imagine that they're pulling towards each other. So that's going to make space in the sacrum, which I think is what Wednesday's class is going to be. Not 100% sure, but that's what I'm leaning towards. Anyway, so pulling that in towards each other, what that does is activate the muscles of the lower abdomen, holding in all those organs, opening up space in the back. And it also reminds you that the pelvis is holding up all of this weight. The legs hold up the pelvis holds this up. So we want this space and lightness in the body. And then the next one, we're going to go all the way up to the neck, and then we'll come back down to the back. So in the throat, we have a little bone called the hyoid bone. That always makes me think of highway robbery for some reason. I don't know why. Doesn't make any sense. Sorry. So we're imagining, oh, maybe this is the part. So that curves around kind of like a horseshoe and comes back. So we're imagining that somebody's pulling on reins, pulling it back and then up around that occipital ridge and up. So if we're like this and somebody pulls back and up, got that beautiful posture. So that's the two, bottom of the pelvis, top of the pelvis. And then the other thing I like to do is the shoulder blades. So we're going to imagine that the shoulders themselves are softening down. And the shoulder blades, that point comes towards each other and then in towards the heart. So that gives us an opening on the front of the body. It's beautiful. All right, root your feet down. Crown of the head soars towards the sky. Beautiful, spacious, open body. Take a couple breaths here. And then let it go. All right, let's open up some more here in this upper area of the chest. So what I this to me is fun. We'll see. All right, it's a little tricky here with walls and windows and such, but I think you can sort of see what I'm doing. All right, so we're gonna start with the palms facing the floor. Fingers extended out. Feet can be together or hip width or wider, wherever your balance needs them to be today, whatever it is. All right, so let's start with an inhale. We're going to inhale, we're going to lift the thumb up towards the ceiling, and then keep going with your inhale. And you can even look up if that feels okay. And then exhale, let's bring it back so the palms face down. And if you want to go past that, thumbs point towards the floor, you can even tuck your chin down towards the chest. And then we're going to inhale from this point, inhale, rounding up, looking up. Exhale, close it back in. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful, one more inhale. And exhale. And then release the arms. Excellent. How's that feel? A little tingly? It's all that energy and space that we're making in the body. All right. I wanted to show you. So sometimes in class, if you're doing too much or going too far and you need to take a rest, or if you've just done too much and you want to do this on your own, you can do that then too. So we've done child's pose on the floor. I'm going to do it to a chair. So we're going to bend the knees nice and deep, and the hands come down onto the chair. So I'm going to walk my hands forward, and I'm going to tuck my chin down. And I'm sending my tailbone back behind me, and I'm walking my fingers forward. Step back a little bit here, coming in. And last time I did this, it was Thursday, I just felt this huge amount of opening in the spine. So take a breath or two here. If it's uncomfortable, you're always welcome to come out. The other option you can do with this is come down to the knees. And it's a little different feel. For me, it's a little bit much on the neck. So you can keep your head up a little bit higher, or you can rest your forehead on the chair. But that's another option. Take another breath. And then let's make our way back up. All right. I had a little internet pause. Let's actually do that. Let's pause. One of my teachers says that yoga happens in the space in between, in that pause. So when we come back down to seated, we'll do a little pause breath practice because that feels awesome. All right, but let's come into a half sun salutation. All right. So again, feet can be close together or a little wider apart. We'll start with the hands at the heart. We're going to inhale, turn just a little bit. Arms come all the way up. Exhale. Arms can come out to the side, forward fold. Going just as far as comfortable. The hands can stay on the legs and slide down. We're going to inhale, halfway lift. Hands can stay on the legs. We want to extend here, back out the tailbone, forward up the crown of the head. Exhale, fold forward again. And then when you're ready, bend the knees. Arms come out to the side. Push in with the feet. Inhaling all the way up, palms come together. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, let's do that 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Hands can slide down the front of the legs. Keep a bend in the knee. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands slide up. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees nice and deep. Arms out to the side, push in with the feet. Inhale. All the way up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, 1 more. Here we go. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, arms out to the side, push in with the feet. Inhale, coming all the way up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. All right. Let's do a nice big heart opening warrior 1. And we'll take just a moment to warm up the knees a little bit. Turn your left foot out, step your right foot forward. And your arms can be just at your sides. If you want, you can check in with that little pelvic tilt back and forth. Can't see what I'm doing. And then release the hands back down again. We're going to bend this knee. Inhale. Exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, straight. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straight. Beautiful. Bend that knee, push off, step back. Let's do the other side. Turn that right foot out, step that left foot forward. Same thing on this side. If you want to check that pelvic tilt first. Beautiful. Come back to neutral. And then let's bend that knee. Inhale. Exhale, bend the leg. Inhale, straighten. That back leg is uncomfortable. You can bend that knee too. Oh, who knew, right? All right, 1 more. And then bend that knee, push off, and step it back. Beautiful. Let's add the arms. So, I'm working on opening up here, so we want to do this one. If that's uncomfortable for your shoulders for any reason, bring your hands to your heart, or you can even do cactus arms if that's too much on the back. Because sometimes when we activate muscles that are overly tense, they kind of go, spasm. So if that's too much, pay attention to you, and we will figure out something else that works. All right. I lost what that word was going to be. Okay. Turn your left foot out, step that right foot forward. We're going to bring the arms out in front, fingertips touching. Inhale, bend the knee, arms open. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Beautiful. Drop the arms, push off, step back. Other side. Turn that right foot out, step that left foot forward. Bring the arms out in front again. Fingertips touching. Inhale, open. Bend the knee. Exhale, straighten the leg. Fingertips back. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. One more. Excellent. Release the arms. Bend that leg. Push off. Step back. Let's take a pause here and do a little balance pose. So we're going to come into our tree because they just feel and look so spacious. Even when it's just like a magnolia, when it's just blooming, it has this spacious under area under the blooms. It's just space. Beautiful. All right, tree pose. So if you want, imagine your favorite tree. Maybe it's an oak or a maple or an apple or dogwood, something. Imagine your tree, beautiful spacious blooms or big fat gorgeous green leaves. We'll start with the right foot on the floor, and we'll just start with our level 1 here tonight because we're looking at space. So we have more space when our leg is like this. And then we'll bring the hands to the heart. And then you can stay right here, or if you want, you can grow your branches. They can come up, leaves can fall down, or if it's raining or snowing, or maybe even the sunlight dappling through the leaves or the blooms. Just feeling the spaciousness of a tree. Crown of the head comes towards the ceiling. That strong leg roots down into the earth. And most important, we're breathing, right? Right hip is nice and strong, left hip is open. And then when you're ready, let's come out nice and gracefully. Shake any legs out that want shaking. And then let's come to the other side. Left foot into the earth. Right heel above that left ankle. So we're nice and strong on this side, open on that side. Start with hands at the heart. And again, imagining that open spaciousness of our tree, crown of the head up towards the sky. That other leg rooted down into the earth. Arms can move or not, whatever feels right for you today. And then when you're ready, coming out nice and gracefully. Excellent. Shake any legs out that need it. And I am being so spacious, I've lost track of time. All right. Let's come into, we're going to come down to the floor and do a triangle from the floor. I know that's not everybody's favorite way to come into it, but to me, again, it's a more spacious way to get into the triangle, which is a very space opening pose to me. Again, not everybody feels the same way about every pose. So we're going to come back down to hands and knees. If you want to grab a blanket, you can do that. And let's give the hips a little space before we come up into a lunge to do our triangle. So if you have blocks, that's great. There are lots of space. If you don't, come up on a blanket. It gives you some height or something of the sort. If I'm up on blocks, you can see what I'm doing a little better, maybe. All right, so let's start with bringing the right foot forward. So you can bring both blocks over, swing that leg around, or just bring it forward. First thing we want to do is bring the hips down towards the floor. So I'm going to come up off the blocks to show you what I'm doing, coming down this way. Excellent. And then let's step our way up, hands on that knee, and then arms up. We haven't done a lot of back bends, so I wouldn't go too far back with this. And then hands come down. And then we're gonna go do that same thing on the other side, and then we'll come back to the triangle. All right, so step that right knee back, and then bring this left foot up. Okay. All right, let's bring the hips down towards the floor first. Beautiful, and then back up. And then hands can come to the knees. And then arms can come up. And again, we haven't done a lot of back bend, so I wouldn't go too far. Anything past vertical, really. And then hands come down. And down again. And then tuck that left knee under. And then let's go up to our triangle. So I'm going to bring this right foot back up. And usually with triangle, I bring my foot past the blocks to give me a little bit more space. All right, curl the toes of that left foot. On the inhale, we're gonna lift the hips up and straighten out the legs. So we need a little bit more stability here before we lift an arm. I'm gonna pivot my back foot so the heel comes down to the floor. If you don't like where it is, move it. All right, so our next action here is I'm gonna keep a little bend in this front knee. In theory, that leg is straight in a triangle pose, but always err on the side of comfort here. And then when you're ready, using an inhale breath, we're gonna lift this left hand up towards the ceiling. So we have this beautiful opening in that rib cage. Excellent. Bring that left hand down. We'll pivot that back foot and then come back down to that left knee. Bring that right knee down, and we're going to switch sides. So let's bring this left foot up. Curl the toes of that right foot. On the inhale, we're going to lift the hips up towards the ceiling. So both legs are mostly straight, right? And then we're going to pivot that back foot to bring that heel down. And again, you can move that foot if it's not where you like it. Front leg is mostly straight, but always have a bend if you need it. And then on an inhale, we're going to bring this right hand up towards the ceiling. Feeling that nice opening in the chest, the rib cage. Excellent. All right, let's bring that right hand down. Pivot that back foot, come down to that right knee. Tuck that left knee under. And then we're going to come and sit for a gentle twist. And then we'll do a quick breath, and then we'll come into our relaxation pose. All right, so find a comfortable seated position. I'm just going to sit up on here. So however that is, you can even sit in a chair if you don't want to be on the floor. So let's do that breath first, and then we'll do the twist. All right, so this is a 4-part breath. We inhale, we hold, we exhale, we hold. So I'm going to do a 4 count that may be more than your breath, that may be less than your breath. I just want to give you the structure of it so you can play with it later and see, maybe you're at a 6, maybe you're at a 2. Doesn't matter what you're at. We want to do equal for each of those 4 parts. All right, so I'm going to do a 4-part, 4-count breath. Ready? Here we go. If you want, you close your eyes too and just listen. So we'll inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do it one more time. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then come back to your regular breath, probably with an inhale. Beautiful. All right, let's make our way down to the floor. So you can bring your feet up to the top of the mat, hands on the knees. We're going to roll down onto the flat of the back. Let's finish with a little Apanasana here, making space. So if you haven't done that before, hands on the knees. We're going to exhale, bring the knees in. Inhale, release. Other option is hands on the front of the thighs. Exhale, hands slide up towards the knees. Inhale, hands slide back down. Exhale and inhale. Beautiful. Let's bring the feet down to the mat and extend both legs all the way straight out. We're going to do one movement with the arms, and I like to call it snow angel arms. Just slide over just a little bit here. All right, so we'll start with the arms down by your sides, palms face up, and you're only going to go as far as is comfortable. So on the inhale, we're going to slide the arms up the floor towards the crown of the head, bending the elbows at any point. Exhale, slide the arms all the way back down to start position. Go ahead and do that 2 more times. Inhale, arms slide up. Exhale, arms slide down. Last time, inhale. And exhale. And then you're going to do whatever you need to do to get comfortable in your relaxation pose. Legs can come away from each other, let the feet fall wherever they're comfortable. Arms can come away from the body to release the shoulders. Palms can face up or down, whatever feels right. You can do a blanket under your head, a blanket over you. We tend to cool down a little bit. I'm going to sit up so I can walk you through full body relaxation. So we're going to go from the feet up to the head, starting with the toes. Relax the toes, the tops of the feet, the soles of the feet, and the heels. Release the ankles. Relax the calves, shins. Release the knees and the space behind the knees. Relax the thighs. Let the pelvis be heavy and sink into the earth. Relax the abdomen. Release the rib cage and let go of breath. Let the shoulders be heavy and sink into the earth. Release the whole spine from the tip of the tailbone all the way to the base of the skull. Relax the upper arms, elbows, and lower arms. Release the wrists. Relax the hands, fingers, and palms. Relax the throat and the back of the neck. Release the jaw. Let the tongue be heavy and fall away from the roof of the mouth. Let the eyes be heavy and fall to the back of the head. Smooth the forehead and face. Let any last thoughts seep out the top of the crown of the head. Let the earth's gravity hold you. Let the air around you breathe you. Take the next few moments and just be. You're welcome to stay in this comfortable position as long as you need. But when you're ready, coming back into the body, back into awareness. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, roll your head side to side. When you're ready. And again with an inhale, rolling over onto your right or left side. When you're ready. And again with an inhale, using your upper arm to push up to a comfortable seated position. And to bring breath back into the body and find us safely on our way. Let's finish with a gentle and calming sun breath. Sun breath number 1. All right, hands together, or sorry, hands on the knees or the thighs. We're going to inhale and the hands float up. Movement follows the breath. Hands, exhale, hands come down, back to your lap. Inhale, hands floating up. Exhale, hands float back down. And one more time. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. The rain just started while we were doing that. Awesome. All right, let me send you with one mudra. It's the Akasha mudra. It's the gesture of space. I know, good with themes, right? So that is the tip of the middle finger and the tip of the thumb touching. You're going to extend the rest of the fingers out, and you can rest it on your lap or your leg or your knee or wherever. In a space of deep inner listening, I receive guidance for my journey. All right, that's pretty cool. Sensing, okay, this is especially helpful for sensing the quality of spaciousness within our bodies and minds. Beautiful. Releasing muscular tension from the neck, shoulders, and jaw. Okay, that's why I picked this tonight. Supporting treatment of hypothyroid issues, supporting treatment of hearing problems, enhancing intuition, opening to new possibilities. All right, so there you go. That's your mudra for this one, for spaciousness. And if you'd like, you can bring your hands together. And I thank you for coming to your computer and doing your yoga today. Namaste. Thanks, everyone.